Good morning, everyone. Good morning. This is David with David Trades 385. Today is Friday, March the 1st, and we are about 7 minutes before the opening of the market, cash open. And as always, I play IWM. I'm sharing my screen. So, what we are seeing so far with about 6.5 minutes before cash, we are seeing that we are currently in the value area of yesterday's movement of leap year or leap day, which was yesterday, February 29th. And we are pushing kind of close to the high or the poor high of yesterday. So to give the market some context, right? So it's not just about um, charts, right? You want to think more about sentiment, potential market movement. And what today is telling me, if we take away from the charts for a second, just think more of a fundamental mindset. Let's look at the economic news and see if there's anything happening today. Okay. Actually, this is cool, but I like economic calendar a little better than Market Watch. All right, so at 10 o'clock, we got manufacturing index. Not really a mover, even though it has the red at 10 o'clock. Not really a market moving indicator, so to speak, but that's at 10 o'clock. Um, and that is really, we have a couple people talking on a panel, but nothing significant today. All right. So just thinking more of a fundamental mindset. Now, if you move it over to the charts, you can see we are in the profile of yesterday, the 29th. And what did yesterday do? Just to kind of put the market in context, we opened here roughly 205.16, and we ended up coming all the way down to roughly 202.54 before closing at roughly 202.60. And I can actually tell you exactly where we closed. We closed at 20 203.73. So, okay, 202.73 is where we closed. We had a high of 202.04, and then we had a low of 202.52 before closing at 203.73. So right now, market sentiment from yesterday is that we fell. We dropped, right? We dropped off. I don't think IWM had 52-week highs, but oh, actually, yes, we did have 52-week high yesterday. Because the last time we seen prices that high was back in April of 2022, April 4th, I believe it was, or April 5th. So the sentiment of the market was prices were high. This is a good opportunity to sell down. And that's what we did. And I believe we had great news or unchanged news on what was that? Let's go back to it. I can't remember what the report was yesterday. Jobless numbers. So that did boost the prices up higher. You see market sentiment on the 28th. We did run higher before closing. I yesterday played the fade because we came into an area where in April 4th, we actually dropped the market. Sentiment is telling me the same thing. This may be an opportunity to reload to drop, especially since we're coming up into poor highs of yesterday. There's a single print from the 15th that's in here, right up in here. I had a single print there from the 27th, which I think I'm going to move here. 204, let me write this down. 204.55 roughly to 204.79. And you can see coincidentally, we're coming against double print right outside of value of yesterday. So let me move that. I want to move that up. And if we do, well, let me do another one. Let me not move it up. Let's just do another one. Because we do have single prints from the 27th in here, just in case in a couple of minutes we fall down there. Let me not move it. Let me just change this one or add another one. 79 and 55. Just in case. So that gives us two areas to watch. We got value of VWAP down here. So the likelihood of us fading down is there. I don't see where we could bounce. Not to say that we can't, but I'm not saying an opportunity to bounce. I like the fade in this particular situation here. Market sentiment is telling me that as well, just from the value area of yesterday and the action that took place. I like we're coming against the close of the 27th as well, of the 15th. I'm sorry. So that's giving me something. All right, I have puts. I have 104 puts queued up. I also have not 104, 204 puts queued up. I have 203 puts and I have 202 puts in my watch list on deck to switch out. But right now I have the 204 puts ready to go. 45 seconds until cash. I am looking to fade here. Um, I like us trying here and then fading, but as always, I want to see value kick in. I don't know what these are. I don't know where these arrows came from. I need to check that, but I want to see some value come in there. With about 10 seconds, what, 15 seconds until cash? Let's go for it. And four. We are opening now. Already like to drop here. Look at that big volume. I'm gonna take it 70 cent. I am in at 70 cent. That's pretty quick. That's right off the open. All right, just sold my first half at 80. Yeah, that was fast. 70, 80. Move my stop to break even, which is 72 for me. That was a lot of volume coming in at that candle in this area of high, of poor high. Let's see if I can get 90. I don't see, so we're here. I don't see where I want to get. I want to probably try to get the 203s here, 203.65. This is could stop me out in my second half. This is all week has been second half stop outs, but getting the first half locked in. Let's see if that changes. I see a lot of volume here. There's a lot of volume. That looked great there. We can hold that off poor high. So we could defend that high of yesterday's volume. We are looking to push down. Looks like that's what we're doing. I love to maybe get here uh of 203.85 maybe. That's the start of this node here, but even better uh POC of yesterday would be even better. 203.61 will be even better. So that's good. Some confluence on the poor high with that single print we saw from the 15th. All right. So I'm gonna take all of it probably at this node here, beginning of this node, but I do like the POC, maybe possibly even this poor high of the 28th. Well, I got the 27th. It's supposed to be the 28th. Oh no, no, I got this one. Okay. That was the 27th. Here is that single print we saw from the 27th. It looked like we're seeing some buyers come in at the bottom of that candle. They're trying to come in. I like my chances to at least pour high here. I'm gonna hold that second half to pour high. I've already made half goal today. Just want to see us get there. See if we can get there. If not, then what is giving me some kind of pause is this right here. Maybe some trap buyers potentially. So we've already made money today. So that everything else just kind of goes out of the window. We already protected our second half with um what is it called? Um paying for the fees, which is going a little bit past my break even. So this right here is telling me buyers are coming in. Maybe to capture more of this or high defend. I want to see if we continue to defend this, then I like the opportunity, at least coming down to 203.86. See high volume is coming into this candle. That looks great. All right. So we're coming. There's high value. We are definitely defending. So we came up to get some more of those orders look like it. There's some high volume at this candle. Not so much right here, but at this price point, 204.45. So we basically defended the value area of yesterday. Market sentiment was saying to sell because we sold pretty aggressively yesterday and we didn't even get out of the value area of yesterday. So the sellers were still in play. Good catch, David. Sometimes I sometimes I like to congratulate myself. I made a post while this is going because we are back to 80. That was my first half. I could take all of it here. I want us to get here though. I may hold out. I'm gonna move my stop in a minute. See, values are coming in, or something's happening here. I don't see a big order yet, so I'm not too worried. But part of me, I always go with my gut to just take it all, and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take it. Oh, right before I hit the button. Let's see what I may flatten my position here. I kind of don't like that. Uh, if we get back up to, I think I'm gonna flatten it here. All right, I'm out. Okay, so we got basically half goal. I moved my stop to break even. I ended up flattening it out, so I got a little bit more. Maybe I was too early on that because now we're finally pushing down. I did want to possibly see the poor high, maybe even come down to this volume node, maybe even POC of yesterday. But this stall right here kind of gave me pause. You see volume is coming in at the bottom of these candles. Not to say that it won't push down, but that was that was all of a pause for me to want to just say, you know what, I'll just take all of my profits here. And not to say we won't come down, and we probably will, and maybe I should have, but this whole week has been taking half goals. I figured today would be no different. And I just took a half goal today, and it looks like I could be wrong. Probably could have got a full. Looks like we're at 83 right now. The goal was 90. Let's see if we push down. At least, again, I want at least to probably get the POC, maybe just to this volume node here, which is 203, roughly 203.71. So the poor high could be a flat as well, but looks like the trend for me has been half gold all week. every day this week I've gotten half gold. Every day I've played all 5 days this week, and all 5 days have been 10 centers, which is times $110 per contract. And you multiply that $10 by how many contracts you purchase. But so for me, it's been basically $510 every day this week, all 5 days, which is, I mean, it's great weekly profit, but I haven't hit my goal at all this week. And it looks like I maybe rushed it because we are still falling. I just didn't like how we were pausing here, right? This high volume. Maybe I should have protected it with a stop. I should have moved my stop to that area, but I didn't want to make my stop too tight either. And yep, that's the 90 right there. That would have given me the whole 20 cent that I was looking for. But we definitely caught a great one again. And a little bit later, I'll go over what I posted yesterday. If anybody was kind of curious on why I posted that 91, yeah. So market sentiment was definitely to sell. We opened within the value of yesterday. We defended that value by just spiking into high volume coming into it to sell off. I had these yellow shaded areas to kind of mark. This one was to mark the single print from the 15th to sell. And we had one double print here right outside of port high to sell down. We had no news to really sway us anyway. Kind of like yesterday, we had the jobless numbers that was unchanged. So being that the unchanged numbers market felt like the being unchanged was a good idea, was good for the market. Oh man, it's 106 now. I could have made even more. This is the point where I log off my brokerage because then it gets a little sick to realize how much money we left on the table. But again, still making $510 every day this week is not bad. Um, but yeah, speaking of yesterday, right? This was yesterday. We had jobless numbers come out, so possibly the sentiment to at least press a little higher was there because we had a out of balance day yesterday where the close were here, the body of the movement for the 28th was basically here, topped off at 202.88 roughly, and we opened actually 205.11. So the sentiment that we could push a little higher was there. Yeah, we saw that yesterday. Let's go back to it. 202.05. And we saw market pushed higher briefly yesterday. If I can go all the way back to it. There we go. And you see there was a brief push higher because the market felt like one, the sentiment was there, right? We closed here roughly 202.35, and we opened 205.18, I think 205.18 yesterday. Let's see. We opened 205.18 on the dot. So market sentiment, big boys, institutions, the prop firms, the hedge funds felt like this was a good run up, right? So the orders, the thought process was there to buy up. And we saw that heavy volume. I personally did not like it because we came up against a heavy sell situation. And look, we passed through as I'm talking, we passed through that POC of yesterday and dropping lower. So yeah, this could have been a bigger day for me. 125 now. So I got in at 70, is now 125. I left a lot of money on the table, but I did not like that volume pushed up. Uh, let's see. So I'm not perfect, but I do know how to read the charts very well. Uh, and I think a lot of traders that I've spoken to in the past say they leave, good traders leave money on the table. You can't squeeze out every cent. As long as you hit a goal, you have a goal and you hit it, then you're successful. But it still somewhat hurts that you left a lot of money on the table. Uh, to curb that emotion for me, I just log off. Um, because I mean I won today, right? So really I can't be too mad, but at the same time, knowing what you could have made sometimes hurts as well. But anyway, that was market sentiment. And then if we go to today, There was no news to report, right? So we didn't have to worry about news too much. So really, it was just about the charts. And what did the charts tell us? All right. Again, yesterday we had a roughly 205.18, and we pushed all the way down to the low of 202.52, and then ended up closing at 203.73. So the sentiment was to sell, right? With no news to combat that information. It was really about the charts and the value of the chart of the profile of yesterday. We had a nice little bump here, high volume. I got in here. You see, we pushed up to defend that, and then there was higher volume there as well. And this just fell beyond the POC of the 29th. And where are we now? We are here. So we are still in the value area. Will be a good thing to look for. And I'm not going to play it because I'm done. For one, number two, prices aren't that bad for 203. The only issue is we are going up against today's expiration. But if you will see price maybe drop 202.90, which is outside of the value area of yesterday's, and then kind of hold that, it's nothing to say that we won't go further down. So that's a number to look out for. I may have an alert on it just to look back, but I mean we're not close to it right now. We could be coming up to defend the POC of yesterday. And there was some high volume there to sell at that POC. And you see higher volume is coming in now. Could be a delta divergence. And we're seeing more sellers come in than buyers in this green candle. So there's something here maybe that's saying the sellers are looking to sell here. You see. Let's wait this out real quick. I'm about to call it a day. That was a very short day. Again, have gold all day has been my theme this week. I mean, all week. I'm sorry. It's been my theme this week. So, yeah, see, that's higher volume defending that POC. Decent delta. Here's bigger delta coming in right now. So there's a defend of that POC, which is now volume POC is slightly above that within the area, right? We are what roughly 202.63 to 20. I'm sorry, not 202, 203.63 to 203.68. We're seeing some defense of that. There's a nice little volume node there. So that would have been a good place to take profit. That's what I was looking at there. I was looking at POC, which we ended up dropping both of them. That would have been a good time to take full profit. I personally this didn't feel right, right? At the bottom of that candle was higher volume. And I mean, I see that we have the presence of higher time frames. What do they call? OTFs, other time frame traders, other time frame traders. We see multiple imbalances here. So the only people that can do that is the big boys, right? Stacking in their orders. We see imbalances here. They're not stacked, but they are imbalanced. There's an imbalance there. There's this imbalance, stacked imbalance there with a 44 piece there. Here's not a stacked imbalance, but an imbalance. All right. I don't see any trap buyers. I mean, this is interpreted two ways, right? You see 135,000 on the ask. That could be interpreted as trap buyers. Um, I also interpreted it as selling the offer, which pushed it down. Yeah, and then we're seeing in that candle imbalance. It's not stacked, but imbalanced. Right, 17 against 3,000, 29,000 against zero. And then we have stack imbalances, 3,000 against 200, 12,000 against 2,000, 44,000 against 11, because you read it diagonally, right? Yeah, I left a lot of money on the table today, but my concern as a trader, especially as a scalper, is to get my goal, right? And I've learned to, at least my personal trading. I know every trader is different, but what I learned as a trader is trading will teach you about yourself, right? It will show you who you really are. Um, I am a patient person by nature. I don't rush into a lot of things. I am human, so I'm not an impulsive person, but sometimes I do have impulsive actions every once in a while. But by nature, overall, I am a patient person, and trading actually highlighted that trait, right? So I say that to say trading will highlight who you really are. If you are an impatient person, the market will expose that and it will smack your hand. And I've been smacked many times. Um, if you are a patient person, you can be patient enough to watch for the move happen. I hear a lot of successful traders say trading is supposed to be boring. It's not exciting. It's not like how a lot of the people on the YouTube and their channels make it seem like it's this glamorous life. You wake up, as soon as you wake up, you go to the charts and you start making money. That is the most far from the truth narrative that a lot of those people on YouTube say. Um, None of them talk about the real life of a trader. Like you have to put some thought into trading. It's not simply kind of going back to my post. If anybody's seen my post yesterday, it's not simply about looking at charts, right? Charts do tell the story, but you got to go deeper than the charts. You got to understand sentiment, right? The thought process of the market. Yesterday, for example, we had jobless numbers, like to go back to yesterday's um, movement, and hopefully that'll help out a little bit more. We opened at 205, right? Here. So jobless numbers yesterday came in, right? And it was unchanged. Jobless numbers. It was projected to be between 210,000 to 215,000. And I believe we came right at 210,000, if I'm not mistaken. So that was pretty much within the forecast of the numbers were in the forecast of what the market was thinking. So the market not only seeing that as a positive thing, because if you play in the market long enough, you know the news comes out way before we get it, right? So in pre market on the 28th, which is Wednesday, we went from closing at roughly 202.40, 202.38, and then having an opening of 205.11, roughly 205.18, I believe it was. So some bigger player, the only people that can move the market, especially this high, right, or this far, are the bigger players, the ones that play with millions and billions of dollars in the market. They're the only ones that can do that. Not I, not you. As retail traders, we can't move the market like that. So the powers that be felt like that was great information. So the sediment of possible continuation to the upside was there, right? So that's the market sediment, understanding the fundamentals along with the technicals, right? So understanding that, there was a good push to the upside. Now I didn't play the upside because going back to April 4th of 2022, market sentiment was there was an area to sell, right? So I wanted to actually sell the market. Prices were definitely getting too high, and we came in. I believe I sold it roughly here. I got in early, if I remember yesterday. So maybe I got in here. I can't remember exactly when I got in, but you can see we started to sell off. We had a bit of a push, and I think we sold pretty heavily, as you can tell from the profile. We sold pretty heavily yesterday because of what I saw on the fourth. So it's more to trading than just the charts. Going back to YouTube channels, man. I mean, I used to follow them, so I'm not saying that you're dumb or that you can't do it or that you're wrong. I started off doing the exact same thing. I read a whole bunch of books. I looked at a whole bunch of YouTube channels just to come to find out that 95% of those YouTube channels are BS. They have no clue what they're talking about because all they do is on the YouTube channels is focus on charts and formations and this and that, when it's actually a lot more to it than just technicals. There you have to pay attention to the fundamentals as well. Um, so you would do yourself a disservice by only looking at charts, only looking at candlesticks and patterns and even just looking at the TPO alone, right? Won't give you the full story. Today we didn't have to worry about news because there wasn't much except for this 10 o'clock thing, which we most likely will make a move before 10 o'clock, which is it's only 9:53 now. So that wasn't too much of a factor because for one, it hasn't come out yet. Again, it does come out earlier, but this is the movement down. So I would just advise anybody who's starting off, number one, stop looking at YouTube. I mean, unless you're trying to get the fundamental information, like what's a candlestick? What does candlesticks mean? What is market structure? Stuff like that. Absolutely, YouTube is good for because there's a lot of great information on YouTube to get the fundamental stuff, fundamental knowledge, 1000%. Um, stuff like time frames and candlesticks and what I say, structure, and there's other great fundamental information that you get on YouTube. But when you start getting into how actually to find opportunities and how to make money, tune YouTube out. But that is complete BS. Now, if you feel like that is your thing, then by all means go do that. But I would venture off to say without a shadow of a doubt, because I've been through it, I went through it, you would not be consistently profitable if you just focus on technicals alone. If you gotta implement the fundamentals in there as well. All right, that's my rant today. You can see what we did today, fundamentally wise. There was no news to really consider. So just looking at the profile of yesterday, we see that market sentiment yesterday was to sell off the highs or sell off the close, basically. Created this nice 70% profile value area of the profile of yesterday. Understanding that there are some sellers still involved. So the sediment, I'm sorry, was to sell the market. And basically just waiting for volume to tell us that. We mark our charts with poor highs, which you did poor high of yesterday. We do POC of yesterday, and we find some single prints, sometimes some double prints as well help out. And we found that here as well on the 15th, and we saw double prints from yesterday. And we just trying to find some confluence, right? Or where the market will find value to sell. We already know sentiment is to sell, right? By looking at the TOP chart of the profile from yesterday, or TPO, I'm sorry, the TPO chart, and looking at the profile of yesterday, saying that confluence, we could be finding areas of the poor high, defending the poor high of yesterday, which is the value area poor high. And here's the value area of the poor low. Basically just means the high of the value area and the low of the value area. Depending on which trader you talk to, some people say value high, value low. I was taught to say poor high, poor low. It's just terminology. It's all the same thing. But just basically finding some confluence. Here was that confluence we marked before open. So this is not something, you can run the tape back. We put this in before the forecast open, understanding that we were reading the charts correctly. We had a good push up in here where we opened actually in the value area with some high volume. I took profit or took the trade there. The next minute we came higher and we saw some high volume come in, and then we finally pushed down right off that poor high. So defending the value area of yesterday. Anybody, and we came back on 9:34 to defend it some more, and that's when we finally dropped. To look at the other markets, if anybody, I know a few people play ES. I can't look at it on here because I don't pay for that information. So the footprint chart I pay for a monthly subscription of $20. Anybody interested, hit me up. Glow charting has been great to me, and I have some more information about glow charting later today, after my meeting with them, and I'll be able to hopefully reveal some great information or some great news that I have with them today. But anyway, Go charting is great. There's other companies too out there that do the footprint chart to let you look inside of the candle to see the bid and the ask along with the volume of each price. I don't pay. I only pay for uh I don't pay for futures. I can't remember what I actually pay for, but I don't pay for futures and I don't pay for crypto. I only pay for the indices. I'm drawing a blank right now. So I'm basically paying for stocks and ETFs to look inside the information. Um, that's inside the candle. But anybody that plays ES is coming off yesterday's highs, dropping. So if you look at the spiders, the ETF of SPY, they're falling as well. Qs, Qs is actually running. Let's see why Qs are running. Let's give that a look real quick. What we call this video. We open. There must have been some good news yesterday. Oh, I'm looking up here. Here. Yeah, so this is another example right here. Let me go up to 439 or down to 439. Yeah. If I get to the right day. Yeah, 430. What was it? 439. 3 here. Okay. So here's another example of market sentiment, right? It's not all about the charts. Now, again, I don't know if there was news in NASDAQ. Maybe Amazon or something like that has some great news. But look, this is another example of market sentiment, right? Looking at TPO charts, and just looking at the profile of yesterday. So yesterday was leap year or leap day, February 29th, Thursday. Just interpreting this movement or this profile of yesterday, we opened here roughly. Actually, I can tell you, we opened 438.23. We had a low of 435.02, but we ultimately ran as high as 440.09 and ended up closing at 439 even. So there was some buying here. The sentiment of the market, especially for the Qs, were to buy. And then not only that, we opened just inside. No, did we close? What was the high? I'm sorry. The high was 440. Okay. So we just opened just inside the profile of yesterday. But the sentiment of the market was actually buying. So the powers that be felt like, there was a good opportunity to buy here. We opened just inside to the upside of profile. So that should tell you there are buyers here. Now, how long those buyers are going to be there, we don't know, right? We don't know. We don't know how long buyers gonna be there. And then coming over to the footprint to see those buyers in real time. Now, some people can interpret this as selling, right? This is on the bid side, so that would be selling 218,000 to sell. I look at it as buying the bids. And we bought at the bottom of this candle to go straight up. And then that was that right there. Defending VWAP, there were buyers here. Now, it didn't last too much long because now we're starting to fade down. Oh, no, we're still here. There was a retracement. That could be the second opportunity to buy there. Look at that volume come in at the bottom of that candle with that buying tail come up there. Defending VWAP, and we pushed higher. That's market sentiment, understanding the fundamentals along with the technicals will help you make better trading decisions. It's not all about the charts. Now, we did find that information on the charts, but just understanding what you're seeing. You can't get this from a plain candlestick. You can't get this. Let me pull this over. I know I'm going on a little rant, but just stick with me. You're not going to be able to get that information looking at this. What does this tell you? And I got this on the daily chart, on the daily time frame. It tells you where price has gone, where it opened, where it closed, how far it went down, and how far it went up. That's it. That's the only information you get there from plain candlesticks. But you need a lot more. A lot more information is king. If you heard that before, that is 100% the truth for anything in life, not just trading, but in life, period. Candlesticks, plain candlesticks I just showed you, they only give you four pieces of information. Oh, really five. It tells you, well, four, where we open, where we close, how far we went up, how far we went down. And that doesn't matter if you on a daily time frame, a 5 minute, 10 minute, 1 minute. It tells you only those four pieces of information. But you need more. You need to know the actual profile of the day. What were the bigger players thinking? Cues, the bigger players were thinking yesterday, even though we had a nice fall into this value. Look how we notice how we came into value and then we push higher. They found balance here and then pushed higher. But what is the sentiment? The market felt like this was a good price to buy. So there are buyers here. The next day, understanding that there are buyers here, the market feels like this is a good place to buy. There most likely will be buyers continuing up. Now, again, we don't know how long or how far, but we do know there's buyers there. So let's just take profit. Let's get into the market once we see. Let me go back to it real quick. Once we see volume kick in, which we saw here, we saw here, we can even say we saw here, we see here, and they're buying. Now, that didn't last too long, but we saw buy and sell there, and then we push higher. But let's get into it, right? I moved my chart. Sorry. Halfway about there. All right, let's get into it. We understand settlement. Market settlement told us that. So you should be able to catch that. Now we're starting to fade there. So it could be some information further back that's telling us there's an opportunity to fade the market. But what we do know is that investors thought, at least for maybe 5, 10, maybe 20 minutes, that we're about 30 minutes into cash, 34 minutes to cash, and maybe 20 minutes of buying was there. But that's when you move your stop to cash in as much as possible. Again, you cash in as early and often as possible. So then the nerves goes away. Now that you made money, and that was about seeing how much more money you can make by protecting your second half or your second couple, whatever it is that you do. All right. So that was a good example of market sentiment, right? Understanding the profile. You're not gonna get that from a plain candlestick. You're never gonna get that information. That's why those patterns and all of that BS that people talk about on YouTube. And I'm not saying this to say you're wrong, because I had to go through it myself to learn it. I follow those same patterns and same things on YouTube. But eventually you got to learn that stuff is BS. It has nothing to do with market movement. Random lines on a chart, right? Was it trend lines? Are BS. Market does not move off lines. Markets doesn't move off your line that you put there, right? It took me a minute to snap out of that, to realize that um if it was that easy, like putting it in a book, then everybody would be doing it. That's when your common sense has to kick in. There's got to be something different. So that was a good one for the cues. Let me see if I can find. You know what I haven't looked at in a while? I haven't looked at the diamonds in a while, man. I used to play that every once in a while. All right, so the diamonds are dropping. Let's find out why. Again, there's no news to contend to that make us think any differently. So we're gonna have to look at the charts. Uh, Again, perfect example, right? Market sentiment. Here is yesterday's profile, right? We opened, I can tell you exactly what we opened yesterday. We opened roughly 389.95. We had a high of 391.11, and we had a low of 388.45 before actually closing. I got those numbers wrong. I'm sorry. We opened at 390.69. We had a high of 391.11. We had a low of 388.45. and then ultimately closing at 389.95, right? We opened roughly here, closed here, came higher here, came higher there. I mean, came lower there. So the TPO market profile gives you, let me pull this back. It gives you that. This is the diamonds I was looking at. It gives you those 4 pieces of information, just like a plain candlestick. But what a plain candlestick can't give you is POC. It can't tell you the actual profile, the 70% of where value was. It can't tell you POC of where the most contracts were traded between those two, those price levels. I'm sorry, and it can't tell you volume, right? TPO, time, price, opportunity. We can see. So looking at the TPO or the profile, TPO chart is the whole chart. Market profile is the profile of the day. So we're looking at the profile of yesterday. We opened roughly here and we sold down, but we ended up closing here. So the sentiment of the market was to sell, right? Market is taking the offload here. We opened, where we opened today? We opened 390, 389.85 here, roughly here. And I got 398.9. Let's see what is again. Let me make sure. 398.85. Yep. So roughly here in this area, we noted that the market sentiment of yesterday was to sell. So what I would look for, and as soon as I put it there, I see it, is I want to see confluence. We're opening in balance. Obviously, we're opening inside the value of yesterday. Here's some confluence for you. That is the poor how without me labeling it. This red line, hopefully y'all can see it that I just put there. That is the poor high of yesterday's movement. We already know the sentiment is to sell. We want to get some confluence when they possibly could sell. And that red line was that. Come up to it. We opened, what do we open? 190, 189.96 according to this footprint chart. We come up into that red line, which was the poor high of yesterday's value. Heavy volume started to come in, right? You can see that red bar, some green. And then not only that, but we see a selling tail right there. Look at that. Nice little P shape to the downside, come down, and then we're finally starting to sell off. Now, great place to sell off, I mean, to take profit would have probably been POC of yesterday. So we're right around here. And you can kind of see us dancing around POC and then finally dropped POC of yesterday. And it looks like we dropped out of the value area here before bouncing back up. And they even defended that VWAP pretty nicely before a little bit more, but I would have took profit all there. All right. So I hopefully that helps, man. Hope that answered the question of my post yesterday. I didn't want to just continue to post to answer everybody's questions. So I just wanted to do it in a broader way. Well, let me rephrase that. I didn't want to just answer everybody's individual question because there was quite a few people that asked me about that post. So I wanted to answer it in this platform so everybody who sees my video can get the same answer. And for the ones that didn't see that post, you should get the answer as well. All right, guys. So I am done for today. Thank you for listening to my rant. Hopefully you guys found this video valuable in your own trading. Until next time, peace.